Next up, we have one of our partners at Tandem Securities, Mark Papendieck from Integrated Portfolio Solutions. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me,
It's an
Grady.
exciting time at the SIAA to have you here with us. Now, can you tell us a bit about your background and your role at Integrated Portfolio Solutions?
Yeah, of course. Look, Integrated is essentially a platform without being a platform. I'll talk about that. So my background is really relevant because I spent a long time in many different parts of the financial services industry.
Yeah.
In platforms, back in the year 2000 actually, I was one of the co-founders, CEO of Antios, which was one of the first internet-based platforms at the time. It's gone on to become Colonial First Wrap these days.
Yeah.
So, but the point is that point that master funds were ruling the world of back office admin for advisors, but change was happening. And so the internet was coming around for the first time, the tech boom. And I think we're at that same point again. And so between then and now, I've worked in investment management, in the planning side of things, in the pure tech side of things. But back in that platform space, I think this is a really great time to be here because, again, this fundamental change that's going on with technology, AI, it's really changing the way that we can deal with platforms and that advisors can start thinking about how to best service their clients. So like 20 years ago, it's a really exciting time, and Integrated is quite different to the other alternatives that are out there. We'll come to that in a second. So
literally on that,
yeah.
What are the differences between Integrated and your traditional platform?
Yeah, and so like I said before, we're a platform without being a platform.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean we don't have a product structure.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the big changes that technology has brought about, that 20 years ago, wraps were the only way, product structures, legal structures, the only way that you could actually go about aggregating different investment propositions and trying to aggregate and consolidate back office admin and reporting for advisors. But these days, in the same way that Uber has changed the way we get around and Netflix has changed the way we consume media, technology has changed the way that we can actually go about consolidating investments and accessing investment opportunities and performing all those back office tasks. You no longer need to have a product structure or a legal structure to achieve that. And so Integrated is not a product. So when an advisor is talking about using a back office platform, somebody like us, in fact, we're the only independent, pure focus provider that does this, and I'll talk more about that in a minute too. They don't need to talk about us in a statement of advice. We're not a product. They don't need to worry about, is a product or is a security or is a margin lender on our approved product list. We don't have an approved product list because we aren't a product. So So our value proposition to our advisors that use us, and we don't own distribution, so advisors like Bill Potter and the independent guys in the marketplace, is whatever your investment universe is, we will accommodate that. If you want us to go and buy a Cayman Islands-based PE fund and manage the capital costs, we'll do that. We don't mind. We don't have an investment committee that has this overlay of, do we think that's a good investment or not? That's not our job. So these days, we achieve for our advisor clients the outcome of consolidated reporting and accessing whatever investment proposition they want their clients to hold in their portfolio. We'll do that. And it's not within a product structure. It's non-custody. But again, if people want custody, no problems with that. We can arrange that as well. So bottom line is, we think that in a world where technology is the future, that these meaningless boundaries imposed by product structures and legal structures, that shouldn't be part of your admin solution. You should be having an outsourced back office if you don't run an admin business, and I'll talk about that in a minute too. Your back office should be able to cater for whatever investment proposition you want your clients to have.
Now, over time, you've obviously had a diversified experience in the industry. How have you seen investment appetite change over time?
Yeah, and look, again, it's this confluence of everything coming together where technology has changed, but so has investor appetites. And I think that perhaps if the appetite hadn't changed, then we wouldn't perhaps be needed. Advisors would still be happy with product structures. But what we have seen is that there has been a very distinct change. Alternatives mean different things to different people, whether they're alternative structures. So again, might be a property that's put into a syndicate. And so that's technically an alternative because it's a different structure. Might be PE funds that have capital calls. They might be hedge funds. They might be convertible notes. It doesn't matter. There's a range of different things. Cryptocurrency, it doesn't matter. But what we have seen is that over the last several years, there's been a massive increase in the amount of alternative assets. And probably actually the best way to pigeonhole all of those is to say traditional assets like equities and managed funds. If we look back maybe 5-6 years ago, that was probably 80 to 90% of the assets that we administered, those traditional type of assets. Today, it's probably those traditional assets have fallen to less than 70%. So
Wow.
alternative assets, whether they're literally alternative assets or traditional assets that are structured in a certain way to make them an alternative type structure, are on the rise. And because they are, it means that, again, the traditional structures that people were using from a wrap perspective to look after their back office don't necessarily work.
Yeah.
And so what we've seen is advisory firms have these days often got relationships with 2 or 3 different wrap providers. Then also they have all of these alternative assets sitting in what they would call off-platform type baskets. So
Yeah.
these poor investment advisory businesses that have gone to these wraps to have a consolidated back office outcome no longer have that, because they have these 3 wraps that they're using, plus their off-platform things, and now they are having to employ staff and spend time in their business trying to aggregate reporting across all of those different asset classes. And so alternative assets are on the rise, no doubt, and unfortunately they're creating headaches in a back office sense for many businesses.
Absolutely. Now, talking about the different changes over time, obviously admin costs and compliance costs are creating quite a burden and increasing costs remarkably for different managers and fund managers out there. How does integrated really work to reduce the costs and minimise this risk for a lot of our investors out there?
Yeah, look, it's really on the cost that the investment advisory firms have in aggregating data and providing services and reports to their clients. That's where we can save considerable time and money.
Yeah.
Again, the investment costs are really whatever the investment advisory firm is choosing to use from a product or a manager perspective, that's up to them. But what we're seeing is that businesses that really call themselves investment advisory businesses are ending up employing considerable numbers of staff percentage-wise to just aggregate that data and provide when an investor walks in and says, hey, it's my time for my quarterly review, sometimes the advisory firm is having to go to 2 or 3 different on-platform providers to grab data, and then a significant number of off-platform providers, simply in order to present the whole of wealth view back to the client. So where we save time is we often say to businesses, look, are you actually an investment advisory business or you're an admin business? Like, what are you doing? You've got 7 investment advisors, planners in your business, but you've actually got 8 or 9 back office staff. So, what are you?
Yeah.
So where we save time and money for advisory businesses is really in getting rid of that back office overlay. So we say, let us be your outsourced back office. And that's one of the differences for us too. We don't do anything else. That's our only job. We aren't a software provider as well. We don't offer separately managed accounts. We don't have a platform. All we do is offer back office admin and reporting for whatever your investment universe might be. So we can take that full burden away from an investment advisory business, consolidate across their platforms, consolidate their off-platform data, and provide a whole of wealth view for their clients and for the advisory firm. And that, honestly, depending on how the firm is structured, that can be a saving of 25 to 30% of their staff costs.
And finally, how have you found your partnership with Tandem Securities so far?
Oh, look, Tandem Securities, we actually have interactions with many parts of Tandem, and they've all been, one, really pleasurable. I think in this industry, it's important to deal with providers who actually have a quality offering in the first place, which clearly Tandem do, but also people that understand how important it is to make business easy. So the really nice thing that I found about dealing with Tandem is not just quality products and people, but their preparedness to deal with providers that traditionally people might have thought you were competitors with. So we've actually got some really good joint clients with people like Canaccord, for example, who again traditionally you might think, well, Bells and Canaccord, they are at odds, but not at all. So I think Tandem's appetite to work with all of our clients, no matter who they are, has been fantastic. So I'm really enjoying the partnership.
Mark, thank you for your time today, and we look
Grady.
forward to a continued partnership with Tandem Securities and Integrated Portfolio Solutions.
Brilliant.